Hello, my dear students. Today our the lesson human-computer interaction. Okay, the human-computer interaction, the lessons plan. Introduction, principles, methodologies, human-computer interface. Okay, so what is a human-computer interactions? Yes, for example, HCI, yeah? Researches the design and use of computer technology, focusing on the interfaces between people, users, and the computers. Researchers in the field of HCI both observe the ways in which humans interact with computers and design technologies that let humans interact with computers in novel ways. So humans interact with computers in many ways. For example, and the interface between humans and the computers they use is crucial to facilitating this interaction. Desktop applications, internet browsers, handheld computers, and the computer kiosks make use of the prevalent graphical user interfaces GUI of today. Next, voice user interfaces (VUI) are used for speech recognition and synthesizing systems and the emerging multimodal and gestalt user. Interfaces allow humans to engage with embodied character agents in a way that cannot be achieved with other interface paradigms. HCI is also sometimes termed human-machine interaction, man-machine interaction, or computer-human interaction. Okay, principles. When evaluating a current user interface or designing a new user interface, it is important to keep in mind the following experimental design principles. Overly focus on user and task, establish how many users are needed to perform the task and determine who the appropriate user should be. Someone who has never used the interface and will not use the interface in the future is most likely not a valid user. In addition, define the task the user will be performing and how often the task needs to be performed. In vertical environment, test the interface early on with real users who come in contact with the interface on a daily basis. Keep in mind that results may vary with the performance level of the user and may not be an accurate depiction of the typical human-computer interaction. Establish quantitative usability specifics such as the number of users performing the task, the time to complete the task, and the number of errors made during the task. Interactive design. After determining the user's task and the empirical measurements to include, perform the following iterative design steps. For example, design the user interface first, second, test, third, analysis results, fourth, repeat. Repeat the iterative design processes until a sensible, user-friendly interface is created. Okay, so methodologies. A number of diverse methodologies outlining techniques for human-computer interaction design have emerged since the rise of the field in the 1980s. Most design methodologies stem from a model for how users, designers, and technical systems interact. Early methodologies, for example, treated users' cognitive processes as predictable and quantifiable and encouraged design practitioners to look to cognitive science results in areas such as memory and attention when designing user interfaces. Modern models tend to focus on constant feedback and conversation between users, designers, and engineers, and push for technical systems to be rated around the types of experiences users want to have rather than wrapping user experience around a completed system. Okay, so activity theory. Activity theory used in human-computer interaction to define and study the context in which human interactions with computers take place. Activity theory provides a framework to reason about actions in this context. Analytical tools with the format of checklists of items that researchers should consider and the informed design of interactions from an activity-centric perspective. So, user-centric designs. User-centric designs is a modern, widely practical design philosophy rooted in the idea that users must take center stage in the design of any computer system. User designers and technical practitioners work together to articulate the wants, needs, and limitations of the user and create a system that addresses these elements. Okay, so principles of user interface design. Designs. These are seven principles of user interface design that may be considered at any time during the design of a user interface. In any order, tolerance, simplicity, visibility, affordance, consistency, structure, and feedback. Next. The human-computer's interaction can be used as a point of communication between the human user and the computer. The flow of information between the human and the computers is defined as the loop of interaction. The loop of interaction has several aspects to it, including the visual-based human-computer interaction is probably the most widespread area in HCI research. The audio-based interaction between a computer and a human is another important area of HCI systems. This area deals with information accurate by different audio signals. Task environment, the conditions and the goals that are depends upon the user. Machining environment, the environment that the computer is connected to, e.g., a laptop in a college student's dorm room. Areas of the interface, non-overlapping areas involving of the human and the computer, not pertaining to the interaction. Meanwhile, the overlapping areas only concern themselves with the processes pertaining to the interactions. Input flow, the flow of information that begins in the task environment when the user has some task that requires using the computer. Output, the flow of information that originates in the machine environment. Feedback loops through the interface that evaluate, moderate, and confirm processes as they pass from the human through the interface to the computer and back. Okay, so task environment, the conditions and the goals set upon the user. Machining environment, the environment that the computer is connected to, e.g., a laptop in a college student's dorm room. Areas of the interface, non-overlapping areas involve processing of the human and the computer, not pertaining to the interaction. Meanwhile, the overlapping areas only concern themselves with the process pertaining to the interaction. Okay. At the end of the lessons, there are such control questions. For example, what is a human-computer interaction? Who is involvement in HCI? What is meant by visual perception? What are in the input and output channels of human? What is the sensory memory? Question 6. What is long-term memory and dimension? Its type, differentiated deductive resourcing, inductive reason, and object reason. Okay, and read and answer the questions. Okay, I hope you understand me. Next, complete the words in the glossaries and send me my mail. Okay. So goodbye. Thank you very much.